All right, let's dive right into a genuine archaeological cold case. We're heading to a remote corner of Italy to look at a group of mysterious stone figures that have been guarding a secret for centuries. And there's a new theory that might just turn a 5,000-year-old story completely on its head.
So picture this. You're in the Lunigiana region, this rugged landscape tucked between Tuscany and Liguria. And there, you find them, the Statue Stele. There are dozens of them. These strange, stylized humanoid figures, some male, some female, all carved out of local sandstone. For 200 years, they've just been standing there, these silent witnesses. And their true purpose? A total mystery.
Now, the official story, the one you'll find in pretty much any textbook, is that these things are ancient, like really ancient, relics from the Copper Age, around 3000 BC. But what if that date is off by, say, 3,500 years? What if the real clues to who made them have been hiding in plain sight this whole time?
Okay, so first we've got to understand the established theory. To crack a case, you have to know the official story first. So why does all of mainstream archaeology point to the Copper Age?
Well, according to the consensus, these statue stele are monuments made by some mysterious pre-Celtic people. The thinking is that they're idols representing gods, or maybe memorials to powerful ancestors. Basically, the last remnants of a long-lost European culture.
And here's the thing, that entire 3000 BC date, it hangs on a single, tiny detail. This dagger you see right here. Archaeologists say it kind of looks like daggers found at a well-known Copper Age site hundreds of kilometers away. And that's it. That is literally the entire connection.
But when you really start to look closer, that single thread starts to unravel fast. The whole prehistoric timeline is just full of holes. So let's start poking at them and look at the evidence that just doesn't add up.
Okay, first, a really basic question. If a Copper Age culture made over 80 of these big monuments, where did they, live? After decades of searching, archaeologists have found zero, and I mean zero, settlements from that time. Then there's their position. At a site called Ponte Vecchio, 9 of these statues were found in a perfect line. How is that possible after 5,000 years of earthquakes, floods, and soil shifts? And finally, get this, many of these supposedly sacred prehistoric stones were found just reused as building material in the foundations of medieval churches. I mean, would you do that to a sacred artifact that's already 4,000 years old?
And this brings us to our first bombshell, an actual historical document. This is an inscription from the tomb of a Christian missionary named Leodgar, and it's dated to 753 AD. It was found right there in Lunigiana, and it says that here he broke the various idols of the pagans. Idols, plural, in the 8th century.
Just think about that for a second. Are we really supposed to believe that some tiny local pagan cult managed to survive for nearly 4 millennia, right through the entire Roman Empire, the Goths, the Byzantines, only to then get wiped out in the 700s? It just seems incredibly unlikely. The much simpler explanation is that the idols this missionary was smashing were actually contemporary. People were actively worshiping them in his time.
So if the statues weren't prehistoric, then who made them? We need a new suspect. And this is where we introduce the Lombards. They were a German people who ruled this part of Italy from the 6th to the 8th centuries, the exact same time our guy Leodgar was out there breaking idols. And all of a sudden, the puzzle pieces just start to click into place. The statues? They're found right along a fortified military border between the Lombards and their enemies, the Byzantines. The weapons they carry? They aren't just generic daggers. They're a dead ringer for the scramma sax, a classic Lombard short sword. And check this out. The place where those 9 aligned statues were found is called Bardine, which very likely comes from bards, another name for the Lombards. The circumstantial evidence is really starting to pile up here.
Now this might be the biggest misunderstanding of all. For centuries, everybody just thought the statues had these bizarre half-moon-shaped hats. But look again. A Roman historian, Paul the Deacon, actually described the Lombards' unique hairstyle. Shaved at the back, a central part, with long hair falling down to their mouths. It's not a hat, it's hair. And it's a perfect match for the description of a Lombard warrior.
So we have motive, we have opportunity, but every good detective knows you need the smoking gun. That one piece of evidence that breaks the case wide open. And it comes from one statue that, it decided to talk.
This is the Stele of Zignago. And it's special because it has the only complete, perfectly preserved inscription ever found on any of these statues. For decades, experts tried to read it as some kind of ancient Etruscan script.
and it made absolutely no sense. But what if they were just using the wrong key to decode it?
Okay, so on the left, you've got the old reading Mizune Muniis. It's complete gibberish, a meaningless jumble of letters that only works if you kind of squint and force symbols together. But on the right, that's the new reading. It interprets the letters as a kind of Latinized runic script, the kind of thing Germanic people like the Lombards used. And suddenly, with no forcing, no weird combos, the letters form two clear, distinct words.
Statue Zenviez. This is it. This is the breakthrough. This is the moment the stone finally tells us its story.
So what does it mean? Well, SVMV is a version of Vulgar Latin for I am or we are. And Zenviez, that's a Lombard personal name or maybe a place identifier. But here is the absolute clincher. Just say that name out loud. Zenviez, Zignago. The inscription isn't just naming a person, it's naming the place where it was found. The modern name of the town, Zignago, is a direct linguistic descendant of the name carved into this very stone.
I mean, this changes absolutely everything. The statue isn't prehistoric. It's a Lombard monument, and it literally says, I am of Zenviez. It's a territorial marker and ancestor statue, a declaration of identity from a Lombard clan, carved not in 3000 BC, but in the 7th or 8th century AD.
It completely rewrites the history books. The stone people of Lunigiana aren't some lost prehistoric cult. They're the legacy of barbarian warriors standing guard on a medieval frontier. And it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other secrets are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone to come along with a new way to read the clues?